Hey guys, this is Greg Downey with loanbids.com. Today I wanted to chat with everybody about a little known facet to the lending space. It's an aspect of loans called asset seasoning. And we're not talking about steak seasoning or putting salt on your property. That's weird. We're talking about seasoning of an asset in under your ownership, where you can no longer worry about what you bought the property for, but you can now look at the actual market value when getting a refinance loan is really when this comes into play. So there's a ton of noise in the industry about this, because it truly is a significant factor for real estate investors, namely investors that are employing the BRRRR strategy, which is just so happens to be a lot of our clients. So we hear a ton of noise about no seasoning or very short seasoning or whatever. So we're going to talk about that stuff. We're going to cut through the crap. We're going to figure out what's going on here. That way, everybody's a little bit smarter and knows how to deal with this funny little facet of a loan program, but that can have pretty significant effects on what your loan looks like. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the reminder button, the little bell down low. That helps us know that these videos are being helpful for you guys. So with that being said, let's dive in here. All right, so seasoning of an asset. This should be a pretty quick topic. What this translates to is how long have you owned the property in your name or in your business entity's name or whatever it's owned in today. When you hear seasoning, that's what everybody's talking about. And the reason that matters is every single lender will have some requirement by which a property needs to be seasoned. So day 0 to day X, once your ownership surpasses on a timeline, day X is when that lender will say, we no longer really care that much about what you bought the property for or what you bought the property for plus rehab. We're just going to consider what the market value of the property is and base your loan amount on what that number is. Okay. Now, everywhere on that loan program and that lender's guidelines from day 0 to day X, everything underneath here is when you would consider the property not seasoned. And then that's where the question happens is, well, what does my loan look like in this period, in this open space here? And that's complicated. Everybody slices and dices that differently, but suffice to say, you're likely not getting the largest loan amount possible. And pretty much everybody is going to be basing that loan off of a loan to cost. And that may be up to 100% of cost. So if you bought it for, I don't know, $100,000 and you put $25,000 worth of rehab into a property, if you're getting 100% loan to cost, your maximum loan amount is going to be that $125,000 mark. Whereas if you could wait to season that same property and it's worth $300,000, wait to get out of this timeline where the property is adequately seasoned, you can get 75% of that $300,000 value, which is a significantly larger loan amount at $225,000, so $100,000 more. That's what seasoning is waiting to look at market value and do a loan based on that, or are we worried about cost and all that stuff? So that's what's going on here in the world of seasoning of an asset and seasoning on your loan. Now, what I see a lot in this industry, and I've seen this recently, is lenders are using this as a marketing ploy where they'll throw out there and say, we have no seasoning requirements, which is hogwash. It's just, I don't believe that really to any extent. I certainly don't know every loan program in the world, but by and large, that's baloney. What they're saying is something to the extent of, yeah, we'll do your loan at any given time. But underneath there is still going to be this timeline of day 0 of ownership to day X, whether that's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months, or kind of those normal time intervals. At any given interval, our loan is now going to look like this, and then you wait longer and it's going to look like this. And then when it's fully seasoned, right, at let's say 12 months, then we'll give you the full value look. So if you hear anybody saying we have no seasoning or our seasoning period is here, you need to clarify, if I meet this timeline, when you say no seasoning or whatever that is that they're saying, then you'll give me a full typical 75% of the value of the property. You're not going to have any regard for cost. That's what true asset seasoning is I don't care what your cost is. I just care what the market value of that property is, and that's what your loan's off of. And typically, as everybody knows, your standard cash out refinance loan to value is 75%. Some can go to 80%, but we're not talking about exceptions. We're talking about norms here. But we had a program advertised no seasoning, and what that translated to was, if you bought a property, that $100,000 property, you bought it for $100,000, you put $25,000 in rehab in it, they would close a loan right behind that. It's technically a refinance, whether you have debt on it or not, and they would get you a $125,000 loan and say, well, because we did the loan at over what you bought the property for, remember you bought it for $100,000 and they're doing a loan bigger than that, that's not, we have no seasoning. No, that's not right. That's doing 100% cost loan, which is like totally normal and mundane. It's unimpressive. What's impressive is a lender that has a very short true seasoning period. So the shortest that we are aware of in the private lending industry is 90 days, right? So if you bought a property, whether you rehab it or not, it doesn't matter. You buy the property day 0, and at day 91, you can get up to 75% of whatever the market value is, regardless of what you bought it for. That is a true fully seasoned property and a loan that's giving you a full look at value. So 90 days is the shortest that we're aware of to get the full 75% cash out. Kind of the middle of the road that we see in the industry is 6 months, which seems relatively reasonable. If you're doing rehab on a property, it takes a minute to get going. And if you finish at month 5, which a lot of rehabbers do, it takes you 30 days to close the loan anyway. So 6 months seems pretty reasonable, and that's where many of the lenders in the industry fall. And then the guys that honestly are lagging have a full 12-month seasoning period. Which in my opinion is just wacky. If you can prove that you increase the value of the property by swinging a hammer or doing whatever to the property, and you can't get credit for that on that loan program, you might need to look elsewhere, because there are high quality loan products that have 6 month seasoning and even a very small handful at the 90-day mark. So that's what I have to say about seasoning. Try to cut through the baloney and some of that, I don't want to call it false advertising, but maybe some of that not so clear advertising about no seasoning. I find that hard to believe, and on further investigation, it's not really what's going on there. So I hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that you found it educational. Let us know if we can help you with a loan. Certainly, we're more than happy to do that, but we're really making these videos to make everybody a little bit better as an investor. We'll catch you next time. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like wherever those are at, and we'll catch you next time.